Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
John Bonus, Marnie Gellner, John Bonus.
Nice to meet you, Marnie.
Good morning. You know, all this talk about Rio and Jesus on the hill? I'm guessing no, because your kids aren't young enough. But have you seen the cartoon? And Corey, animated movie Rio?
Yeah,
I see Rio.
That actually is a really good movie. It has a Minnesota connection because that bird gets stolen in Rio. But some of the scenery, and I know it's animated, but the scenery of the birds flying around J on the H.
Whoa!
And the movie, the music that goes along with it, and just let me take you to Rio.
Yeah, oh, it's a good one.
It's a great animated movie,
and the colorfulness of that animated movie does reflect a lot. Like there's just a ton of murals. There's a lot of colorful stuff going on. Brazil's I don't know that I would be anxious to go to Sao Paulo again. But Chrissy has basically said, we're coming back to Rio. Like, we're absolutely not going to do it.
Carnival. Which is depicted in the movie.
Yeah, show a lot of skin and get back there, John.
So I will say this.
Let's go.
When the Vikings play in Brazil, I'd still recommend people go there. In part, one of the reasons why is because it's also their off season. Like, it's Brazil's off season. So, to get on a tour to go see, Jesus on the Hill. Jesus. It's real easy to get tickets to that sort of thing. It's the hotel prices are not as expensive. Like I said, the dollar is strong right now against basically the whole world, and I'd recommend making the trip. It's like and you don't have to deal with the jet lag that you have to deal with going over to Europe. I will say this: it was easier to speak English in Japan.
100%.
Than it is to speak English in
Nobody
Brazil.
speaks English in Brazil. I had my phone out the whole time.
You're going to want to Duolingo for a couple weeks.
Google Translate.
And Google Translate to learn a little bit of Portuguese.
That's exactly what I was telling people too. Like remote parts of Japan where almost no tourist goes has more English than Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just had to speak Portuguese to everybody.
That's right. Yep.
Sauce, you speak a little Mandarin.
I do. Ni hao.
Hello.
Ooh.
That's it.
How about Portuguese?
What did you say?
Hello.
Hey.
How?
Hi.
Hey there.
What's up, man?
I don't speak any Portuguese. I barely speak English. You put it out every hour of every day.
Who, me?
Yes, you, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Zacho, you ready?
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by the St. Paul Saints.
I'm Zach Halverson in for Chris Hockey this morning, and this is the news presented by the St. Paul Saints. They are back in town tonight. They're taking on Indianapolis. They will be back here taking on Indianapolis the rest of the week. So get your tickets now, saintsbaseball.com. Authorities are searching for a man who they call a person of interest in a homicide that happened in Washington County yesterday. Investigators believe 45-year-old Trevor Wunderlich is connected to the killing of a woman at a home in Hugo. The local sheriff's office says Wunderlich is considered armed and dangerous, and anyone who has information on his whereabouts should call 911. Officials are not sharing additional details on the murder at this time. A former Minnesota lawmaker is accused of giving alcohol to an underage woman. Misdemeanor charges have been filed against 44-year-old Jason Metza. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Office says Metza has admitted to offering whiskey to an 18-year-old woman he met on Tinder and took to his Beatty Township cabin back in July. Also in July, Metza was arrested for criminal sexual conduct, force or coercion, and was later released without charges. Officials have not said whether the two criminal cases are connected.
Two tough stories, but we were dangerously close to having the last two names be Wunderlich and Mensa.
Yeah.
So close. So close.
A Minnesota Department of
that's the level that I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't hear almost anything that Zach just said because I was fascinated by the fact that the guy's name was Wonderlick, even though it sounds like he killed somebody, which is terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then
it sounds like it's his mom.
Oh, it's his mom.
So based on there was reports last night, and I've got friends that were obviously to go, and they did a massive search last night. I was hoping this morning that they would have found him by now, but what it sounds like is he abused his mother for weeks. She called 911 and was just moaning on the phone because she obviously didn't want to alert him. They show up and then administer all sorts of life-saving efforts, but she apparently died on the way to the hospital. So horrible story, and it was a massive police presence up in the northeastern metro last night. So hopefully they can find him. There's pictures. If you go on social media, there's pictures. Keep an eye out for that very, very, very bad person.
Yuck.
A Minnesota Department of Natural Resources pilot is being recognized for rescuing 2 people earlier this year. Grace Zeller has been presented with DNR's Life Saving Award. Zeller was off duty when she responded by helicopter to a call for help back in May after a group's canoe went over in Curtin Falls.
Oh.
She was able to rescue Kyle Sellers and Eric Grams. The 2 other members of the group did not survive, but Grace Zeller winning the DNR's Life Saving Award up in Curtin Falls. Oh. A group of children has started their own neighborhood newspaper in South Minneapolis. The paper is called the Elliott Avenue Gazette and is led by a 7th grader. The paper covers local events, politics, and personal stories with articles written by the kids themselves. The Gazette, now in its 7th edition, is delivered weekly to around 20 local residents, and it even has an expanded to digital editions behind, I'm sure, a paywall. The project aims to highlight positive news through the children's unique perspectives.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
That newspaper just went bankrupt.
They laid off all the kids.
Yep. Hey, man, tough times.
Can you imagine that comment section? Wait a second.
It's probably more adult than a lot of comment sections.
Minneapolis-based Target is looking for seasonal help. The retailer announced yesterday that it plans to bring on 100,000 seasonal employees this year to fill positions in its stores and warehouses. Target's application window for seasonal help will begin on September 25th.
I wonder if that's an average number. Is 100,000 for the season pretty standard, or is there a reason it's in the news right now?
Good question for Mr. Target or Miss Target. Wow. Miss Target.
Angie? Angie?
Oh.
Number of targets. Man, that's an interesting number. There's almost 2,000 of them.
Is that right?
That seems to be a lot per store.
Well, it's warehouses as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Target has about 415,000 employees, so that's a 25% jump.
Damn.
Wow, Otis. Bad. You're good at it. Many Minnesota motorists this week are seeing a drop in prices at the gas pump. AAA reports the average price of regular fuel in the North Star State is now $3.05 per gallon. That's a drop of 4 cents per gallon from last week.
Woohoo!
Wow. What are we going to do?
We don't hear as much scuttlebutt about gas prices these days, which makes me think that they're not as bad.
That is correct.
Or people just got tired of bitching about it.
But can you imagine with the time when we are happy that gas prices are in the low 3s?
Yeah.
Because about 10 years ago, maybe, we would have lost our mind. We did, in fact.
Yeah.
We did, in fact. And now we're like, 305?
311.
That was last week, Corey.
Yes.
311.
The Beatles of rap rock. Yeah. Zacho, is that it?
Sure.
Okay, cool. When we come back, we'll do sports.
Yeah!
Sauce can ask Marnie about the Lynx before Rosie gets here. Whew. Let's hurry up and do
Nice
that before.
enthusiasm,
Yeah, come on.
Sauce.
Enthusiasm.
Jeez,
We'll talk
nice.
about Bryce Young and Kirk Cousins with an epic drive, and the Twins are collapsing. John, can you stick around for one more? We're going to talk about how the Twins are collapsing.
Yeah, I'm
more
excited.
of the Power Trip after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
Live at 8 a.m. You can head over to KFAN.com/watch to catch all of the action. Powered by Quantum Fiber. Your world unleashed, right, Zacho?
Oh, I'm sorry, Zach. Are we bothering you? Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
What were you doing?
I was just trying to watch ESPN on silent. And
That's
then
the way it
Max
should be
just had to
watched.
speak.
Oh.
All right.
Salz, are you ready?
Man, you know what? Of course I'm ready, Corliss.
For what?
Sports.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
It's all around.
Thank you. We're going to bring up the most important thing first. The Sun hosts the Lynx tonight at 6 o'clock.
Good
The
start.
Lynx are a 1.5-point favorite. The over-under is 155.5.
Interesting.
Marty,
I would not think Minnesota
are you
would be
doing that
favored.
game?
Yes, I am. It's a 6 o'clock game tonight. And it's a very important one. As you guys know, there are 2 games left tonight and Thursday. If the Lynx win either of the 2, they have secured the 2 seed.
Nice.
What?
Nice.
The 2 seed.
How does
It's almost surely going to happen because the only way the Lynx won't be the 2 seed is if they lose both of their games and Connecticut wins both of their games. And the Lynx are for sure going to win.
But one of these games is
Thursday.
versus Connecticut.
Tonight.
Yeah,
Thanks
right.
for listening.
Yeah, so it's very possible that. Yeah, okay.
But I deserve that. I don't listen to anybody.
And then Thursday, the Lynx are home against Los Angeles, and that is a team in a free fall. So I am very confident. I just hope it happens tonight because this is the only team in the league the Lynx have not yet beaten. We're 0-2 against Connecticut, lost the first game in overtime by 1, lost the second game by 5.
Is there
We're
a
due.
chance they end up meeting Connecticut in the playoffs if as the number 2 seed?
It would only be in the finals. I think I would have to look at the bracket. But
who are the potential matchups if we have the 2 seed? Like, is Caitlin Clark in Indiana one of them?
No, because Indiana is the 6th seed. We would match up right now with the Phoenix Mercury. That's probably how it's going to go. 2-7 will be Minnesota Phoenix.
So you don't get like a first round bye or anything. You have to remind me of sort of how the postseason
It's
works.
3 rounds. First round is best of 3.
Okay, got it.
And it is interesting because it goes 2-1. So
really?
if the underdog team forces a game 3, it is on the underdog team's home court.
Interesting.
That is something that the W will tweak going forward, but because they've never had charter flights, they've always been commercial. So to be able to fly, just look at Minnesota Phoenix. What if it was Phoenix Connecticut? You know, to get those places back and forth is not easy, and because the first round is best of 3, the home team gets the better record gets the first 2 games. So the Lynx will get the first 2 games. And if they don't take care of business in 2, they have to go to the other team's home court.
Never giving the other team a home playoff game. That's kind of badass. Just end it. Right? Just win the first 2 and bury them. Never let them have a game at home. That's
Last
cool.
year, the Lynx played Connecticut in the postseason, and the Lynx won a game in Connecticut and forced a game 3 at Target Center, which they lost. But then the second round and the finals are both best of 5.
Gotcha.
So then you have your traditional 2-2-1.
Got it. All right.
Neat.
It's still your turn.
You want to
I would
recap
think
that?
if flights were the problem, I would think what they would have just done is said, no, the home team just gets all 3 games. Or the
higher seed?
The higher seed just gets all 3
Well, then you tell the
games.
team that fought and scratched and clawed and for 7th or 8th and said, we got in here.
Yeah.
You're not even going to give us a game?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's exactly what we're doing.
That's right.
Last night, we had a classic Kirko comeback as he led the Falcons on a last-minute touchdown drive to beat the Eagles 22-21. Kirk threw for 241 and 2 touchdowns. In that final drive, he was 5 of 6, and he was not pressured once.
Not once?
Not once. They didn't bring any pressure. They just went to a prevent defense. And Zacho, what was your line?
Prevent defense, don't prevent nothing.
All right. Both the
Your team
Eagles
losing.
Trademark that.
and the Falcons are 1-1. The Vikings battle the Texans on Sunday at noon. Pregame at 10. The Texans and the Vikings are both 2-0. The Texans are about a 3-point to a 2.5-point favorite as of right now. We get our first injury report
I think it's less than
tomorrow. ESPN has it as a 2.5-point favorite for Houston. Over under 45 and a
They
half.
still don't believe in us.
that. DraftKings at 2.5 as well. You're right.
Yeah. Thank you. Everybody, Coach KOC yesterday said that Dallas Turner is day to day, and he expects Justin Jefferson to play as well.
Awesome.
Bonus?
Yes, sir.
Your turn. The Twins blew another game last night as they led 3-0, and then they scored one in the 5th. And then in the 7th, they got another one, and then they took the lead for good in the 8th with a 2-run home run. The Guardians took a 4-3 lead. The Twins went silent into the 9th and are in a full collapse. They are 79-71. And to make matters worse, the Tigers pulled off a comeback of their own by beating the Royals 7-6. So the Twins are now only a game and a half lead over the Tigers for the final wild card spot. Twins at Guardians tonight at 5:40. The Twins have lost 3 of 4.
And 18 of 27 or something like
Hideous.
that. Yeah. It's been a tough run.
This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
What happened?
I almost thought he said.
I was going to say, I watched your eyes on
I
that.
did too. My heart just dropped. I was like, oh my God.
F
Wow.
to start it off, but
Although that would be more
then I
accurate, to
heard
be
it
honest.
correctly. Your squad, Johnny. We got to get. We gotta get right.
I mean, last
man.
night it
We
was
gotta get
Griffin
right.
Jax's turn to melt down in the bullpen, but it was also because Pablo Lopez, started struggling in that. Went 6 strong, and then in the 7th inning ran out of gas. Bases are loaded, no outs. They're trying to work their way out of a jam. They finally do. Griffin Jax gets credit for that. He protected a 3-2 lead by getting the last 2 outs, even with the bases loaded. And then he comes out in the 8th inning, and he's having some success and throws a ball inside and gets driven to right field for a home run. And, while the bullpen seemingly takes turns melting down, the entire lineup is also sort of melting down right now. They will get a couple of runs, and then they just shut it down for the rest of the game. We're just not seeing consistent offense at all from this lineup, and it's been about a month and a half now, and that's after the return of Buxton. That's after the return of Correa. We've got a lot of the young bats that were carrying this team have fallen into slumps, or they're dealing with the end of a long season, or they're dealing with injuries and they're trying to play through them. And we've got just a bunch of cold bats right now in that lineup. And as a result of it, every game is close, and every slip up the bullpen does matters. So
I'll still argue Griffin Jax is one of the coolest names of all time.
Agreed.
It sounds made up though. Like it sounds like one of those names that would be a bad guy in like the Fast and the Furious franchise, right?
Yeah.
Like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are taking on Griffin Jax.
He also sounds like an
Who made
Air
up
Force.
this name?
Like an Air Force pilot is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And, that's his background. He was Air Force Academy.
The Griffin angle, right?
Yeah.
Sauce, you get that bit, right?
Because a griffin is a bird.
Kind of. Yeah. He's kind of a bird. It's a mythical birdish
I didn't know
creature.
this was a Mensa meeting. I apologize.
The Wonderlic meeting.
The Panthers are benching
callback.
former number 1 overall pick Bryce Young, and they will
is he
start.
dead?
No, he's not dead. They're starting Andy Dalton, who, as Corey mentioned earlier, if you'd told us he retired in 2015, I would have believed you. I had no idea he was still in the league.
Still slinging it, the red rifle.
He was a 2nd-round pick in
1982.
I would believe it.
2010.
No.
I don't know. I mean, something.
Yeah.
It's got to be older than that, right?
He's 36, so it's got to be close.
Pretty right.
36 years old. He was drafted in
Already like 18
2011.
2011.
Wow.
35th overall pick in 2011.
Yep. Bryce Young was 2-16 in his 18 starts, 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He's yet to throw a touchdown this season.
Think about what you just said. 18 starts, 11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That is just the worst. That's so bad.
That's really bad. You know who else doesn't have any touchdowns yet?
Andy Dalton?
This year's number 1 overall pick.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's over for him in Carolina.
Sure is.
Yeah, it is. Deebo Samuel is hurt. He will miss a couple of weeks. He got hurt on a tackle that happened in the Vikings 49ers game.
What?
So he is out, as well as all the other people that are hurt. A lot of fantasy teams are beat up, man.
Dude,
Cooper Kupp is now going to go on the IR.
Puka Nakua's out for 9 years.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
The Gophers battle the Hawkeyes on Saturday at 6:30. Pregame at 4:30. Both teams are 2-1. The Hawkeyes, though, are a 2.5 point favorite.
Who wants some smoke?
Why,
I think Max does.
Not in relation to a bet, but yeah, if you want to, you just want to go out in the parking lot or something. Yeah,
Pass the Ducci to the left-hand side, Mark.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where's the Sensi at?
Is that what they say?
Hand us that ooh-wee.
Where's the sticky icky?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, my
OG
God.
Granddaddy Perp.
Yeah.
Rose knows about it.
My boys.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Who would you
It's a
take?
drug.
I have no idea.
I don't either. Yeah.
I haven't seen a second of Iowa football, though. Not that that
Have
shocks
you
any
seen
of
a
you.
second of Gopher football?
I've watched a lot of it.
I'd rather see those
A
two
ton of
guys
it,
just go
actually.
at it.
I mean, it's on in the background when I'm doing other things, but it's technically on the TV.
Like giving yourself the stranger.
What does that mean?
You know. You blog about it.
I think
Talk about it.
Oh God, do I write for one of Bonus's websites?
Thestranger.com.
Should we be subscribed to that?
No, don't subscribe.
No?
It's gross.
I'm a good writer. I have a journalism degree.
I would bet
Who
you
cares
would
what the
be.
topic is?
Hard.
Hey, I know Hog's not here, but you know what Hawk loves? Power rankings.
Smooching?
Where do you think the Vikings are in the ESPN power rankings?
7.
9.
Well, the reason why power rankings are dumb is almost always is just based on whatever their record is, and they're 2-0. So they're probably right around the top 10 of teams, even though they probably shouldn't be yet, but we'll see. I'll say 11th.
Yeah, you're right.
11?
Yeah.
It's 11.
Come on.
Too easy.
Yeah, too easy.
They don't believe.
Do they believe?
Who's 3?
Who's 3? Why are you asking who's 3rd?
Well,
So it's got to be
The
somebody
Packers?
surprising.
number 1. Saints are number
Saints?
2.
Saints?
The top 2 are Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Houston.
Saints are
They're
number 3.
4. The Saints are
I mean, it could still be the Niners.
9. It is the Niners.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you can tell, that's all I've got.
Yeah.
Is that just for this segment, or is
yeah,
that
just-
a
yeah.
okay?
No,
Also,
he doesn't mean in radio.
No,
he means
come
like for
on,
life.
No. The Wild play a preseason game on Saturday, Zach.
That's crazy.
I think
That
it's
is wild.
I think it's on Cool 108.
That's
Is that right?
correct because of the Gopher football game.
Yeah, because it's a 6:30 kickoff for the Gophers and Hawkeyes.
I'll be there.
Joe Donnell, Tom Reed, Kevin Fulness.
Wow.
Back for another year, baby. Wild Radio Network
I love it.
taking over the state of hockey.
I love it.
Yeah.
That got
Bumps.
That's our writers at Hockey Wilderness after a long off season of trying to cover
Yep.
hockey.
Johnny Bones, I'm glad you survived the thongs of Rio. We appreciate your storytelling and welcome back.
I will be at Glick's tonight for a Twins Daily watch party to watch the Twins try and turn this around and or melt down.
What time will that be?
That will be at, the game starts at 5:40, so we're checking people at 5. You go to twinsdailysocialclub.com, twinsdailysocialclub.com.
Jesus, how many domain names do you own? Your GoDaddy bill
check
must
out
be
my Twitter,
epic.
whatever you have.
Jeez.
You know, you could have just done twinsdaily.com/social club, right? I mean,
Yeah.
save
what a
the
sucker.
$20.
Is there a secret handshake or a password?
Maybe. I can't tell you, can I?
By the way, what is Glick's stance on throwing things into the TV screen if they blow another lead? Can you throw your beer bottles or not?
I've got my ceramic mug there.
That you probably bought on twinsdaily.com.
I got my ceramic, my Glick's membership ceramic mug, and we have to protect that at all costs. So
honestly,
it's not allowed to go into the TV.
Your shameless plugs of your side projects make me sick. It gets old. It's like it's the whole time you're on this show. Nobody cares about your stupid side hustles. Jeez. All right, dude, you're the best.
See you, kids.
Love you.
Yep.
John Bonus out. Mark Rosen in. More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
In celebration of National Singles Week, It's Just Lunch is giving you a chance to win a complimentary 3-month dating membership. Go to KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter to win. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest, or at Max Fuller on Twitter.
Oh, the single ladies.
Welcome into the Power Trip Morning Show. Mark Rosen, Marnie Gellner, Mark Rosen.
Beautiful morning. Good morning, everyone. Marnie in particular.
You guys have met, right?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
We're just chopped liver, Rose.
I said hello to you, but you weren't listening. You had your headsets on.
Sorry.
That's all right.
He was getting work done.
Yeah,
In particular part.
I understand.
Yeah.
He was getting worked on?
Getting worked over.
Both work done and worked on. All right, let's do Vikings news because I have a couple things I would like to discuss.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Redco, your truck accessories pro.
12 hours ago, Sauce, you tweeted, it would be great if we could hear more from Jason Kelce.
Let me see. How do I word this without sounding like a douchebag? The Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce thing is horrible. Horrible.
It's overcooked.
It's overcooked, and I know I am too. My bit's tired and old, and just put me out to pasture. I get that. I'm just as boring and dumb and stupid as they are. But like, imagine if next week they had like a Bills player on the whole third and half of the fourth quarter. Are they going to do that? Like having Travis Kelce on everything, or Jason Kelce, is just awful. It's just not like, it's stupid. It wrecks, like, Falcons fans are pissed about it. How do you have an unbiased, or a biased guy in the booth cheering for the other team? That's dumb. It's overcooked. All of it. It's too much. It's too much Jason Kelce. He's not that interesting. He's an offensive lineman. Future Hall of Famer. Shut up about it. They make it seem like he invented the game. It's too much.
11 hours ago, you tweeted a picture of Jason Kelce in the bottom right-hand corner of the TV screen, and it says Jason Kelce joining the booth in the third quarter, and you tweeted, my TV will be on mute.
I stand by that. I don't want to hear it. I didn't mute it.
But you could flip over to ESPN too and watch the Mannings.
I'd rather watch half my family be put down in a firing squad.
Wow.
But you would hit the half, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Pete sauce would be front and center.
So you said my TV will be on mute, and something called @Brian53026940 tweeted, so will my radio from 5:30 to 9 a.m. weekdays whenever you're on KFAN. And you tweeted, no, not that. Please listen, Brian 53026940.
I stand by that.
Yeah, you understandably so. Anybody with that many numbers in his name, and then you start reading his thread, you go, no. Good call.
There's a couple of them.
Well, Sauce, 10 hours ago, you tweeted, ESPN is making it seem like Jason Kelce invented the sport of football.
Yeah, they do.
And you capitalized football.
Well, football needs to be capitalized. It's cool. Stand by that.
Well, you know their motivation.
Well, yeah,
and I know you do, because I know because number one, they're in Philadelphia. He just retired. He's, for an offensive lineman, you're right. He gets a lot of attention, and he's related to the guy who's dating Taylor Swift.
Which is it's all overkill. Let me ask you this: you know how weird it would have been on Sunday? Who did the game? CBS, and it was Harlan.
Right.
And I love the guy. Literally love the guy. Think if they just had John Randall in the middle of the broadcast for a quarter and a half. People'd be pissed. It's stupid. It's just overkill. And Joe Buck thinks he's the greatest thing ever. It doesn't work. It's annoying.
10 hours ago, you retweeted Ryan Donaldson, who tweeted, Jason Kelsey is a nice guy and all, but that's enough.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. See, Ryan and I get it.
10 hours ago, you tweeted exactly what you just said 2 minutes ago. So next week, is ESPN going to have a former Bills player in the booth?
Are they?
Thurman Thomas?
Yeah. Andre Reed?
OJ?
Yeah, 80 people tagged.
Yeah.
This one's fun. 11 hours ago, you tweeted a picture, or I should say a GIF of Vince Carter saying it's over, and you tweeted, the Twins bullpen and Kirk Cousins are both cooked.
That was wrong.
Yep, because then 9 hours ago, you tweeted, I've never doubted Kirk.
I haven't.
That was perfect sauce.
See, that's when the big comes around, right?
Right, exactly.
The Falcons did come back thanks to former Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins. They'll be the Falcons on a game-winning 70-yard drive in the final couple minutes. Scoring a touchdown, throwing it to Drake London with 34 seconds to go. That locked up the win.
Yeah, thanks to the drop by Saquon Barkley. Without that drop, Cousins never touches the football again. Or if he does,
run the clock out.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's over. And credit to them, but I don't know what the Eagles defense was thinking in that last drive, but it wasn't very effective considering they had pressure on Cousins all night until it mattered. And Zach is right. I've seen it for decades.
Corey, I have a question for you.
Go on.
This is a game theory question. Oh, so when Marty complains about things, it's instantly fixed.
Yeah, how about that?
New headphones for Rosie.
Said, please and thank you. He was ripping you. I was ripping him. Yeah, you're getting ripped, Rosie.
Thank you, Chad.
It was on the air. That was Chad Abbott, by the way.
I have a game theory question for you, Corey. Max and I were talking about this when the highlights were on ESPN. Throwing the ball is ridiculous on multiple things, right?
I don't know the situation because I didn't see the end of the game.
So it was 3rd and 3. Atlanta has no timeouts. Max, where do you think the ball was? The 10?
Yeah, something like that.
So, whatever. But it's 3rd and 3, right? They throw that swing pass to Barkley, and he drops it. The Falcons have 0 timeouts left.
How much time is on the clock?
A minute.
Minute 23.
Minute 23, something like that. You run the ball, right? Correct? It takes 40 more seconds off the clock. You either A, go for it, and if you don't make it, they have to go 91 yards in a minute, less than a minute with no timeouts. The whole thing was botched. You run the ball in that situation, maybe you get a yard or two, and then it's 4th and 1, and then you can think about it, and then you do the unstoppable tush push, right? And you get the first down, and then what happens?
Then the game's over.
The game's over. The whole thing was mismanaged.
Well, or the game is over if you have one of the top running backs in the league who can catch a football.
Or that. I
mean, we're literally talking about a backyard, 3-yard, 4-yard pass. I mean, he had to turn his body around, but Barkley is not a great pass receiver. He's notorious for dropping footballs, but they decided to throw him the ball. And he had Butterfingers, and that was it. And again, still
frozen Butterfingers, so good. Throw them in the freezer.
Yeah, it's still up to the Eagles' defense. It's you have to have without any timeouts stop a team that you basically stopped all night long, and you stopped rushing the passer.
Well,
they don't bring pressure.
What do you think about the prevent defense? Because Zach is really fired up about it this morning and came up with a couple of super cool sayings.
Yeah, I remember that from the 60s.
The 60s?
Yeah, they used to talk about the Vikings. The teams going to prevent defense that prevents nothing.
Oh, my gosh, Zach, you stole that whole bit.
Yeah, way to go, Zach.
Unbelievable.
That you see teams put 8 back, rush 3, and quarterbacks. Well, you saw it. You even saw it with on the Mahomes situation on Sunday when they have a 4th and 16.
Yeah,
they rushed 3. Now you take your chances that you're going to have enough guys to defend, and they should have, and they got called for pass interference. He didn't complete the pass, but nevertheless, it's still the theory would be I'd rather put more bodies on trying to chase down Patrick Mahomes and force him to try to do something that he doesn't want to do and rush his pass. But
right, and that's what the Falcons did on the Eagles' drive down the field to try and get the game-winning field goal. They put pressure on him, and he sailed the pass, and they picked it off.
Yeah. Every coach has different theories about those things, but more times than not, I've seen it happen to the Vikings tons of times when they've put 8 guys back, and they get burned by it. So
not with this defense. We can send 4 or 5, and they all get to the quarterback.
I think they can.
Renard's everywhere. Cashman's everywhere. Van Ginkel's everywhere. Pat Jones is everywhere.
For 2 games, this is the most impressive defense I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
I mean, just in terms of exactly the way you described it, swarming and just being there for each other. And it's playing. It looks like they've been playing together for years. I mean, I know it's just 2 games. I understand that. But it still is a very encouraging thing, thinking about how porous this Viking defense has looked in the last X number of years, especially against the pass, against the Daniel Joneses of the world and others, no-name quarterbacks that have burned them. They look like a totally different team. And Brock Purdy is one hell of a quarterback. We've watched him before. I've watched most of it on TV, saw him play here a year ago, but I'm so impressed with him, and the Vikings still managed to beat him here, kind of against all odds on Sunday. So that was obviously a huge win, and now they're going to get another one on Sunday.
Yeah, you think they're going to win?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I think they're going to get the victory.
I'll see if Mixon's playing and their backup. I mean, it might be our old guy Cam Akers might be starting for them.
Yeah.
Who signed with the Texans. So it's going to be, and we get to talk to Renard here in a little bit with Daniel Hunter coming back in particular.
It's going to be an excellent atmosphere.
Oh, it will be. It'll be terrific. What a fun team to watch, the Texans. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this Vikings team so far, and Sam Darnold and everything they're bringing to the table. This is going to be a team that's going to be in contention, I think, all year long.
He's only made one mistake, and that was that interception to Fred Warner.
Well, you call it a mistake. That's Fred Warner too.
Yeah, he made a great play. Yeah.
There's not many linebackers in the league that have that ability to kind of twist and turn like that and make that play. He's so good. So
how about Purdy's all-time record against the NFC? Undefeated except for 0-2 against the Vikings.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So credit to Brian Flores, right? Whatever he's doing is giving the Niners trouble, because the Niners made the Super Bowl last year and the Vikings beat them in the regular season. Yeah. The Niners are the favorite to come out of the NFC again this year,
right? And
the Vikings beat them.
Yeah, and Purdy acknowledged that to Flores after the game when they shook hands at midfield. He said, "Your scheme." He just kind of shook his head, man. He understands that it's something he doesn't see very, very often for however they mix it up. But yeah, I never imagined. I mean, again, we were talking about Brock Purdy, but from Iowa State, that kid is just. I mean, for you think, well, he might be a flash in the pan. No, he's that good. He's got a great head on his shoulders. But Sam Darnold's proven a lot of his critics wrong as well. So that's
one of the most. Well, let's look at Purdy versus Bryce Young. One of the craziest things about sports is how did every team miss on Brock Purdy, right? Because he was the last pick in the draft, the absolute last pick in the draft. How did every team miss on him so many times? And how did essentially the Panthers get the Bryce Young thing so wrong?
Yeah.
Scouting is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of it can be organization-wide, coaching and everything else that Purdy has the advantage. Would Purdy be the same in Carolina as he is in San Francisco?
He'd be better than Bryce Young.
Yeah, he would.
Well, probably.
He's super accurate. That's something you can't, teach as fast as Brock Purdy has learned it.
And that's the thing.
Unbelievably accurate.
We've seen Bryce Young miss wide. Look, ask Adam Thielen. I mean, wide open receivers.
Really bad.
Yeah, like you're playing in a backyard game. And so that kid's got a long ways to go to get his confidence back at this point. And when he has that opportunity, it's going to be a while. Mentally, he's beaten up already.
So are you in on this Viking squad or what?
I am.
Are you a believer?
I'm a big believer.
You're all in.
Hell yeah, Rosie.
Yeah, I really am.
Believe.
Yeah.
Oh, great. There goes 5K.
What do you mean?
She just sang Cher, so now we owe $5,000. That's coming out of your check.
We owe Cher cash.
No.
I like when you do that.
Again, over under 6.5 to start the year.
Man.
And you already have 2 wins. If you have the Vikings over, you're feeling unbelievably good about the rest of the year.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
And they're still underdogs this week.
Slight dogs. They've never lost to the Texans. I think I saw 5-0 is the all-time record against the Texans.
I think you are correct.
Not that matters, but it is one of those weird stats. They also haven't lost to the Niners since 92 in Minneapolis?
Correct.
Something like that. I think the 8 straight dates back to 94.
Yeah, they're just
crazy.
They're feeling it right now over there. They really are, and that's it's confidence is so much in sports, as we all know, no matter what sport it is, and at the professional level, they're acting like college kids over there, and they've meshed a bunch of new faces that we weren't quite sure how it was going to end up, and again, September football is not the same as December football, But you got to be consistent. You got to maintain it, and I think you got to just keep getting better. And keep in mind, they're doing this right now without Jordan Addison, and they're getting T.J. Hawkinson back. They're excellent tight end when they play the Jets in London. I mean, by all accounts, he should be ready to go. Which is really going to be good news for Sam Darnold to have a target like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, that one drive at the end of the game when they were without Jefferson, without Addison, without Hawkinson. And I'm thinking the momentum had switched to San Francisco, and this is going to be tough. And Darnold did a marvelous job. He threw that pass over the middle to Naylor, and
great
it was
throw.
A great throw because there was coverage everywhere, and he laid it right in there. Great call by KOC, but that won the game for him, which set up the field goal, and then the 49ers were chasing the rest of the game. But that drive to me was the most impressive one of the game, because they were without basically their receivers, their top receivers that they have signed up for this team. So kudos to them for having the depth and having the right people in the right position.
What a story, Mark.
We will we'll talk to Jonathan Grenard in about 45 minutes. He'll be on this show.
That's great. Now we love that kid. He's a great talker, really enthusiastic, and he's got, I'm sure, a lot to talk about getting ready to play his old team this week. It'll be a lot of fun.
Our goal should be to make national news again. Last week, his comments about feeling a little bit bad about the Giants fans booing Daniel Jones, made like SportsIllustrated.com, some other website picked it up. They did call us the Power Hour, not the Power Trip. That got confusing because the 8 o'clock hour is called the Power Hour.
Let's give him the rip C.J. Stroud today.
That's what I'm saying. Is we got one of us has to ask a question that gets Grenard to say something that makes news. Otherwise, we have failed.
That's right.
All right.
Sauce.
Up to you, Sauce.
This is on you.
Yeah, it is on you.
Yeah, you're the pro here.
Yeah, you're a pro. What's the be better than Jason Kelsey. Ask a question that is going to make national news.
All right, I will.
All right.
Any ideas?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay.
Give us a preview.
Do you think that Trent Williams needs to work out more?
Hell yes.
We're going to ask a question about last week's game?
Yeah. I want to know about it.
When you talk, I feel like you're an idiot.
No, you're right. Whoever that man is.
Fan 5 is next. We'll get to headlines in the 8 o'clock hour, and Jonathan Grenard of the Minnesota Vikings joins us in about 45 minutes or so. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.